Thank you for joining me. Today we are going to talk about the 5 P's of the apocalypse. Are they keeping you from your dream? So for everyone who doesn't know me yet, my name is Angela Williams. I'm a licensed clinical social worker and success coach, and I empower ambitious women to go from achiever to intuitive leader. If you are live with me, go ahead and tell me in the comments. I'd love to see you and hear from you. If you are joining the replay, go ahead and type replay in the comments. And where you're tuning in from. I love to know where folks are all over the world. And, today I want to talk to you again about those 5 P's of the apocalypse and see how, if those are present for you and if they're holding you back from your dreams, okay? So I want you to listen in, and I want to hear from you. When you're listening in, you're listening to these 5 P's, I want to know which resonates for you the most. So go ahead and drop that in the comments as you're listening in, okay? So we're just going to jump in. Number 1 is procrastination. So many times we will procrastinate, right? There's so many reasons for this, but really what it boils down to is that it's our response to us intuitively knowing that whatever the task is at hand doesn't align with our value or isn't worth our immediate time. So letting that sink in for a minute, can you think of any examples where that can be true for you? I think about, when we were in school and it was like kind of waiting for the last minute to do, to study or to take a test or whatever that is. And it's like, there are other things that were more fun that we wanted to do, right? And so I want to know if that is a big thing for you. And I know this is a big one for a lot of people actually. And me, I can definitely be guilty of this. This used to be me a long time ago, a lot of the time, but now it's a little different. But I remember a previous supervisor told me once, that she's like, okay, I know that I'm going to avoid, I know I'm going to procrastinate on the things that I don't really enjoy doing because they're just not aligned with me, right? And so, needing to find a plan to either prioritize it and get it done right away or outsourcing it to somebody else that can help with that. So true. I catch myself doing this too, like for things in my business, like maybe budgeting or accounting. That's really, for my business or my personal life, right? So that's something that I've learned to, as a business person, outsource and, put that in place to make it easier, right? Hire an accountant, right? Get somebody that can support me in that's maybe not my strength or what feels, like it's the best use of my time or skills or talents, all of that. Okay, so what are the things that you find yourself procrastinating with? I can also add dishes to that. Like, I just don't love that. And luckily, my husband's awesome and he chips in, thank God. But yeah, it's really hard when you don't see that direct value for your time right away. All right, so that was number 1. Number 2 is perfectionism. Okay, number 2P, perfectionism. When you can't accept anything less than perfection, which can come from that fear, really. It can come from a fear of not feeling like you're enough, or that judgment from others, right? Feeling like you have to be better than, or feeling like you can't make any mistakes, right? And that can be learned in so many different ways, but that's another piece too, that perfectionism can really hold us back. And also lead to procrastination, right? Because if we can't do it perfectly, we can't do it at all. So that can be definitely a barrier. Number 3 is people pleasing. This can also stem from those same fears of, that lack of, feeling like you're enough or feeling like others are judging you. That can also come from that. And really, it allows the needs of somebody else to come first, even as a detriment to ourselves. So needing to be the best in somebody else's eyes or opinion, that comes first before your own sometimes health and well-being, which is really, really difficult to balance, right? That's why we don't have work-life balance and we burn out, right? Because we're trying to live somebody else's opinion or expectations versus our own, and they're not aligned a lot of the time, right? I used to not think that this applied to me for a really long time, and then I really sat and as I've grown and really looked back more on my life and my decisions and some of the behavior patterns, it was really something that I did do and, compromise what maybe my opinions were or my expectations were for somebody else's. And, I was doing this in a big way, which made me resentful. It made me less effective. It made me burned out, all of these different things. And I can see how that was reflected in different times in my life, like relationships, romantic relationships, family relationships, jobs. It can really apply anywhere. Number 4 is our forever planner. So this is another P, planner. Always good at starting things. I see this a lot of times with entrepreneurs, with myself, in starting projects. Really strong at starting up, wanting to plan, get that process going, but not so much great on the follow through, all of that, right? I could see how that was definitely a bigger thing for me in other workspaces. But really, not really enjoying the now necessarily, always just striving, right? It's the striving, always trying to get to that next thing. And so it's hard to stay present in that moment when you're that forever planner. And I totally resonate with this one as well. And then number 5, so the last P of the apocalypse is that perplexity. So when you're overwhelmed and confused, so being perplexed, that state of being confused, right? So a lot of times when we're facing something, it's overwhelming, making a big decision, doing something successful for our career or, something in our family, whatever that is, when we're overwhelmed and confused, and a lot of times we don't know where to start with making a change or a decision. And so a lot of us avoid it or suffer this hardship. The confusion does cause hardship and hard feelings, right? Because of the state of confusion. So we simply don't take action. That causes us that inaction. And that's another place where a lot of my clients are when they're trying to start their own businesses, or maybe they're recognizing that they're not happy in some way, but they don't know even where to start to make that change. And so, yeah, I want to know from you. So those are the 5 P's. So let me go ahead and just do a quick recap. 5 P's of the apocalypse are procrastination, perfectionism, people-pleasing, the forever planner, and perplexity, right? So where are you identifying with most? What are you resonating with? I know for me, I could say all of these things, and one or more times of my life has shown up, and I know that they show up for other people too. And it's interesting to be aware of how those patterns are playing out for you now, in the past, and to see if we can kind of make some tweaks so we don't carry those with us, right, in the future if they're not bringing us success. So a lot of these P's are not, having us achieve that success that we're looking for. They're really putting in those blocks and barriers, okay? So let us know in the comments, what are you identifying with, or you can message me too. And here's the answer really for all of it, right? And I want you to know that if you are struggling with this, or if you notice this, it's totally okay, totally overcomeable. Here's the answer. Here's the thing that's really going to move you from kind of sitting in those muddy waters, from not taking that action. And that is really listening to your own intuition. And the thing about that is that a lot of people are like, ooh, that kind of sounds like woo-woo, I don't know about this. But here's the thing, making the right, braver decisions for yourself, it really does come from intuitive leadership, listening to yourself. And success isn't about working harder. It's about making those braver decisions for you. Think about all the times when you have, made a choice, made a decision to, and maybe it was a difficult decision to make, but you knew it was for the betterment of you and your life or your family or whatever that is. Right? It's about making those braver decisions, taking that risk, using that courage, right, to get to that next place. And we have to listen to ourselves in order to do that. And so some people think like, oh, listening to your intuition, like, oh, it's a little out there, it's a little woo-woo. But if you think about it, that's really instinctual, right? We think about behavior patterns, we think about, survival skills, we think about animals in the wild too. We all have these instincts. We all have this internal message system, and if we tune into that and listen to that, that's going to help us know what is aligned with us and what we are going to be able to accomplish and how we achieve our goals in that way. We've got to listen in. We've got to tune in and listen to that messaging. The more we listen to ourselves and make these braver decisions, the more we succeed in everything, in love, our love relationships, our life, our work, right, our careers. So if there's anything I want you to take from today, it is that I want you to listen to your intuition. That's where making the right, braver decisions comes from, your intuitive leadership. All right, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you got something out of this. Please put in the comments what you took away, what you heard, and what was helpful to you. And I'd love for you to come and join more discussions, and more inspiration, more trainings, more tips on success and achieving your goals in life. You can do that by coming into the Women Building a Bigger, Braver Life Facebook group and staying tuned to my personal page every Monday. is the 3 o'clock show, and we will have something new for you. All right, have a good one. Talk soon.